It's an exciting day. We're going to another edition of the Mycotoxin and Chronic Illness Summit, and today I just have a real pleasure, a chance to chat with Dr. Richie Shoemaker. Dr. Shoemaker has sort of been one of the leading lights in my life in treating chronic illness. I had a patient come into me in 2001, I believe, clutching a book and with the present of a visual contrast sensitivity chart. And I've been following and admiring and enjoying Dr. Shoemaker's ideas ever since. And I've always been amazed at how much he has to teach us. Today, we're going to start off with a title that I actually like. It's a radically different view of mycotoxin illness. And so, Dr. Shoemaker.
Well, Dr. Gordon, you're looking younger these days.
COVID. No haircuts. And I kept it up.
So you asked me to talk, and I think we'll have a conversation, not a talk and not a lecture. But there are some advances that have happened in the world of molecular biology that really do impact people with chronic fatigue as part of their basic source of illness. Now that we know that multi-system, multi-symptom illnesses share not only proteomic markers, and we have in CIRS, we have over 20 biomarkers, some proteomic, some not. If we look at chronic fatigue syndrome, for example, another example of a chronic fatigue illness, we don't have any biomarkers at all. Fibromyalgia, there's no biomarker. So how can this be that one discipline of chronic fatigue medicine has got 20 biomarkers shown in peer-reviewed literature, and here a much wider literature, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, the experts haven't agreed on any?
Yes, and they've wasted a lot of money looking.
Well, we couldn't afford to waste any money. We didn't have much to waste.
Okay, now hold the goddamn phone here. What's this bullshit about people not having a biomarker for chronic fatigue syndrome? If you look at the original chronic fatigue syndrome cohort, we had plenty of biomarkers. We had biomarkers up the ass. I mean, we had human herpes virus 6. We had elevated RNA-seL. We had the collapsed EBV nuclear antigen. We had the aberrant CD4-CD8 ratio. We had abnormalities on cell flow cytometry, red cell mass abnormalities, lots of red cell debris, and an erythrocyte sedimentation rate that was 0. We had plenty of biomarkers. So basically, you're saying that it's a chronic fatigue illness and refusing to admit that we had any evidence. Now, this is an absolute bunch of crap. Now, if you go back and look at the original cohort, narrow it down to the very incident that the CDC was called for, you will find 3 teachers in a single room. And what was in that room? Stachybotrys chartarum. Now, you're telling me that's not something worth looking into? Every bit of study and research into chronic fatigue syndrome, into Stachybotrys, has indicated that this particular mold is worth following up on. It provides the immune evidence that tells us what could have happened to call the CDC out to investigate this illness. So don't tell me there are no biomarkers.